What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of When, Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Tennessee Volunteers versus South Carolina Gamecocks. Tennessee is a 82.7% chance to win. South Carolina is a 17.3% chance to win. This is at South Carolina. Tennessee's 23 nation, 20-9 record. South Carolina's unranked, 12-17 record. I question why the spread is that low. Anyway, for super stats, Tennessee has more points per game. South Carolina has more points against. Tennessee's a higher field goal percentage and is more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. The only stat that's really big difference in rebounds per game is that's difference rebounds per game. So that one is a 10.2 difference in favor of Tennessee. The rest are very close. I don't know if rebounds is going to be a big enough thing to make that difference. So I think with the home field advantage, South Carolina will beat Tennessee tomorrow. Alabama Crimson Tide versus Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama has a 54.2% chance to win, and Georgia is a 45.8% chance to win. This is at Georgia. Bama is 16 nation, 22-7 record. Georgia's unranked, 29 record. For stats, Bama has more points per game, points against. Georgia's a higher field goal percentage. Bama has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and Georgia has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Georgia will beat Alabama tomorrow. Clemson Tigers versus North Carolina Tar Heels. Clemson has a 38% chance to win. North Carolina has a 62% chance to win. This is at North Carolina. Clemson's unranked, 21-8 record. North Carolina is 17 nation, 23-6 record. For stats, North Carolina has more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and Clemson has more steals per game. Yeah, so these stats are pretty close. So I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think North Carolina will beat Clemson tomorrow. Toledo Rockets versus Miami, Ohio RedHawks. Toledo has a 15.8% chance to win. Miami, Ohio is a 4.2% chance to win. This is at Miami, Ohio. So Toledo's unranked, 16-13 record. Miami, Ohio is 19 nation, 29-0 record. Yeah, it's weird how the spread is the way it is. But yeah, so for stats, Miami, Ohio has more points per game. Toledo has more points against. Miami, Ohio has a higher field goal percentage. Has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Miami, Ohio will beat Toledo tomorrow. Kansas Jayhawks versus Arizona State Sun Devils. Kansas is a 78.3% chance to win. Arizona is a 21.7% chance to win. This is at Arizona State. So Kansas is 14 nation, 21-8 record. Arizona State's unranked, 15-14 record. Your stats on Arizona State has more points per game, points against. Kansas is a higher field goal percentage, and there's more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and Arizona State has more steals per game. Yeah, so these stats, they're pretty close. So I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Arizona State will pull off the upset and beat Kansas tomorrow. Vanderbilt Commodores versus Ole Miss Rebels. Vandy is a 70% chance to win. Ole Miss has a 30% chance to win. This is at Ole Miss, so Vandy's 24 nation, 22-7 record. Ole Miss is unranked, 12-17 record. Yeah, so for stats, Vandy has more points per game. Ole Miss has more points against. Vandy's a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. The only stat that's really a big difference here is points per game. That one's a 11.5 difference in favor of Vandy. So despite the home field advantage that Ole Miss has, I think with the points per game advantage, I think Vanderbilt beats Ole Miss. Nebraska Cornhuskers versus UCLA Bruins. Nebraska is a 51.5% chance to win. UCLA is a 48.5% chance to win. This is at UCLA. So Nebraska is 9 in the nation, 25-4 record. UCLA is unranked, 19-10 record. Yeah, so for stats, Nebraska has more points per game. UCLA has more points against. Field goal percentage is even. Nebraska has more rebounds per game, assists per game. UCLA has more blocks per game, and Nebraska has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think UCLA will beat Nebraska tomorrow. NBA. Detroit Pistons versus Cleveland Cavaliers. The Pistons have a 50.3% chance to win. The Cavs have a 49.7% chance to win. This is at Cleveland. For injuries, for the Cavs, Wade is a game time decision, and Mitchell and Struss are out. For stats, Cavs have more points per game, points against. Field goal percentage is even. Pistons have more rebounds per game. Cavs have more assists per game. Pistons have more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Cavaliers will beat the Pistons tomorrow. New York Knicks versus Toronto Raptors. The Knicks have a 63.9% chance to win. The Raptors have a 36.1% chance to win. This is at Toronto. For injuries for the Knicks, McBride is out. For the Raptors, Murray Boyles is out. Murray, Boyles, and Hepburn are out. So yeah, so for stats, Knicks have more points per game. Raptors have more points against. Field goal percentage is even. Knicks have more rebounds per game. Raptors have more assists per game, and blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Raptors will beat the Knicks tomorrow. San Antonio Spurs versus Philadelphia 76ers. The Spurs have a 62.9% chance to win. The Sixers have a 37.1% chance to win. This is at Philly. For injuries, for the Spurs, Plumlee's out for a non-injury reason. Ingram's a game time decision, and Jones Garcia is out for the year. For the Sixers, Broom and Embiid are out, and George is out with a suspension. For stats, Spurs have more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game, and 76ers have more blocks per game, and they have more steals per game. So yeah, so these stats are pretty close. So I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the 76ers will beat the Spurs tomorrow. College baseball. Also, Carolina Chanticleers versus NC State Wolfpack. So Coastal Carolina is 16 nations, 7-4 record. I don't know how in the world they're in the top 25. NC State's 13 nation, 10-1 record. So this is, in Raleigh. So, obviously it's a definite home field advantage for NC State. I mean, it's a midweek game. Crowds aren't as big. But it could still be a big crowd with this being a top 25 matchup. So I think NC State will beat Coastal Carolina tomorrow. Mississippi State Bulldogs versus Southern Miss Golden Eagles. Mississippi State's 4 nation, 11-1 record. Southern Miss is 10 nation, 10-1 record. This game is at Southern Miss. So that can be interesting. It's at Southern Miss, but Mississippi State's a bigger fan base and Southern Miss really in any sport. And Southern Miss, they're one of the good baseball schools. The whole state of Mississippi does well with baseball, basically. But yeah, I think this could be a good game. It's a midweek, so who knows? I think with the fact that there might be more Mississippi, so this could be more Mississippi State people, but this is at Southern Miss. Hattiesburg is it's a decent distance from Starkville. So yeah, I mean it's about it's like a 3-hour drive between the two. So yeah, it's a decent drive that could affect things. But yeah, Mississippi State fans around the state. So with this being a midweek game, around when teams use their worst pitchers, with it being at Southern Miss, I think Southern Miss will beat Mississippi State tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.